How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Robotics Notes Elite. It is now time to search for the third report. And the flags for this report are kind of weird. Like, they're very outdoorsy. Like, the flags for the second report were, like, game-related, and these ones are they're very, not vague, but they're just out there. They're very random seeming, but you can also claim that the flags for the second report were pretty random as well. But I mean, stacking rocks and then sitting here for like 3 hours for like multiple days straight is kind of out there. Our first struggle came in the form of locating 36 rocks that were the right shape and size for stacking. Combine that with setting geotags for each and every one, and suddenly a huge chunk of time had zoomed by. I'm trying to stack them as quickly as I can. Given how the rocks on the gate haven't been blown off, they must be pretty stable. But the ones we try to put on top of those just won't sit still. Every rock I put on top of the gate just falls right off. This is going to require a gentler touch than I was prepared for. Oh boy. And so I decided to put this task to the side for now. Okay, before we do that, what's new on Twitter? Anything? Tonight's dinner, meat and potato stew. Ooh, that sounds good. Hello from Space Candy. The Gun Festival is happening today in Nishinomodeshi. Space Candy will be there too, so drop by to check out the Matchlock gun experience. Nothing on C and D.
どっちがいい?ここで成功するまでひたすら石を積み続けるのと、洞窟の中でジオタグを3日連続3時間ずつひたすらポケコンでフォーカスし続けるのと。
Okay, gotcha. So it's two different tasks for sitting here for 3 hours for 3 days.
どっちも先輩がやればいいんじゃね?
作業分担って言ってるでしょ。
じゃあここ。
Damn, I would have picked this too.
日焼けで肌がひどいことになると思うよ。
そんなこともあろうかと日焼け止め用意してきたんで、キリ。
I personally think that Frau could use a bit of color, but oh well.
わかったよ。じゃあ俺洞窟行ってくるから、石を積み上げたらこっちに合流して。
I doubt it'll take 3 hours to wrap that up after all.
逃げたら君をこの島にいさせなくしてやるんで、よろしく。
なんという中二病的脅し文句。
That was Chunibyo? It wasn't supposed to be funny. Oh hey, look. The cavern. This cave here is called the Chikara no Iwaya. The entrance by the beach is low and narrow at first, but opens up into a wider space once you hit the ocean. At high tide, the waves push into the cavern in several spots. There's room for about 1,000 people to sit inside. And that's why Chikara is written with the kanji for 1,000 and sit, or so said the sightseeing map. Locals like me rarely go out of their way to come here. That's why even I feel like I'm about to get lost. It doesn't help that I have no idea where the supposed geotag is. I gotta look around. After wandering for some 10 minutes, I finally locate the geotag on the wall. It's almost 1 p.m. And we just have to, like, stare at it? Yeah. There's clearly no reason for this geotag to be here. It reads Flag 3 13 to 16 X3, which would be odd to anyone who didn't already know what they were looking for. People would probably assume it was e-graffiti, or that visiting tourists stuck it there to commemorate their visit. Oh yeah, now that you mention it, e-graffiti, that's very interesting. Since anybody can technically, like, create a geotag and put it onto something, and there it is in the database, you can technically use it in such a spamful way, like just throwing geotags all over the place. But as someone who knows about the flags, it's incredibly clear to me that this is a Kimijima Report flag. Did Kimijima Co. stand here 10 years ago and attach this geotag here? As my mind fills with these thoughts, I capture the tag within my Pokecom screen.
この状態で3時間耐えろって?勘弁してよ。
I can't even play Kill Ballad to pass the time. I have to stay standing the whole time and hold my Pokecom up. It might be summer, but the splashing waves are cold. This is gonna suck more than I thought. And what about the tides? This place supposedly fills with seawater at high tide. I'll just book it if that happens. I guess I'll have Irie keep me company for now.
長かった。
3 hours later, huh? No, honestly, if you have nothing to do, that shit will just take seemingly forever. So tired, I want to die. I'm getting too hopeful. I need to think about Model 1 more. That is true. That is something else that came up in the previous episode, was the robot doctor was not that happy with the idea of not necessarily forgetting about Model 1, but jumping over to a whole new Model 2. By the time 3 hours had passed, I was dead. Standing up in and of itself wasn't so bad, but having to hold my Pokecom up the whole time was worse than I expected. It certainly didn't help that the tide rose midway through and my feet were buried beneath the waves. My shoes are soaked. I really should have worn sandals. I gotta do this for 2 more days? I'm really starting to believe in the Kimijima Ko as a sadist theory more and more. I collapse on the beach, and the sand is toasty from absorbing the sunlight. But after spending 3 hours in the shade, the heat is kinda cozy.
で、まだやってんの？
こんなの無理ゲーすぎ。
Frau looks like she's about to cry as she continues to stack rocks.
何個ぐらい詰めたの？
Frau avoids making eye contact with me.
積んでも積んでもすぐ崩れるわけで、まさにサイの河原状態。
What's with that look of ecstasy on her face?
3時間やって成果ゼロはひどすぎるね。少しは工夫するとかすればいいのに。
天狗じゃ、天狗の仕業じゃ。
She's trying to escape from reality, as she tends to.
プログラムにつ
Typical
いては
shut-in
天才
behavior.
らしいけど、こういう単純作業は苦手なの？
Sorry, I was getting a drink. Frau nods her head in response.
あとは任せる。
Bro, let me get a drink. Wait, hold on.
私は先輩のふやけた足の指をグニグニする作業をしとくんで。
遠慮しとく。
Oh, I'm glad Irie does, but she also won't let us cheat our way through this. Like, honestly, I would hate doing this, truly. Why did I even bring her along?
いいから、コナちゃんも丸投げせずに続けなよ。
I gather the tagged rocks and stand in front of the gate.
なんでこんなところで手こずらなくちゃいけないんだ。
I carefully placed the first rock on top of the gate, annoyed. It ended up taking a grand total of 2 hours to stack up 36 rocks, and it's already dark. Since there are no streetlights anywhere, the moonlight serves as the only illumination. It's kind of a minor miracle that I cleared a flag in this darkness. Alright, well, we're halfway done with the flags then. Obviously, one of the flags was to, well, have the second report. That was an easy one. I think the other flag that we gotta worry about is related to a flower or something. The next day, I rouse Frau out of bed first thing in the morning and we head to the swamp where the, yep, there it is, the Candelia obovata are located. Activating the flag requires me to take a picture of the flower and upload it. I looked it up beforehand and apparently the Candelia obovata flower, whatever the fuck it's called, blooms at the beginning of summer. Since we're right in the middle of the season, I was worried there wouldn't be any flowers left. I remove my shoes and step into the swamp. I say swamp, but it is half dry, and start checking the Candelia obovata. I make Frau help, but only 10 minutes go by before she starts complaining, and I end up doing the work myself. After about an hour, I finally find the flower in question and grab a snapshot. As soon as I upload it, it's displayed in Iro. 3 hours of pain and suffering await me in that cave in the afternoon. But this time I made Frau help. The flag requires 3 straight days with the same Pokecom, so we take turns every 30 minutes to make it more bearable. The tide again starts to rise midway through, causing Frau to loudly panic as the waves cover our feet. Oh, the phone's ringing. I'd finally gotten to sleep, but now my brain's slowly rebooting itself. No, I don't want to wake up yet. It's summer break and way too early to be getting up. I don't even know what time it is. All I know is that it's definitely the morning. I was planning on sleeping until noon today since I haven't gotten to do that in a while. I reach over to my Pokecom and reject the call. The sound stops immediately. With this, I can go back to sleep. Honestly, during the weekend, I completely turn off my phone. Like, dead ass. It is off. My watch, off my wrist, also off. Like, I do not want to be bothered whenever I'm going to sleep on a weekend. Like, eat my ass, seriously. Okay, so it's the 23rd. Hold up. So the guide here says, at the start of August 23rd, we need to create a save and lock it. So this is going to be a bit of a return point. Honestly, the whole route system in this game seems to be a little weird. So we'll do what it says, and we're going to save it here on slot 1, and we're going to lock it. Which is with the insert key, but my keyboard is weird, and I actually have no fucking idea where my insert key is. My keycaps don't help either, so I probably don't even have an insert key, unless this is it? Yep, haha. Great, cool. You know, maybe I know my keyboard more than I believe I don't. You know, it's a big mystery there. So it says here that throughout August 23rd and 24th, we will not reply to any tweets. And today we will find the Kimijima Report. So let's see. You know, I'll just read this aloud. I'm just using the guide that you can find online or over on Steam. It says, on the 23rd, in order to find the Kimijima Report, we will actually use the maps to quick travel to Hamada Beach from Hamada Beach. So when we're there, we're going to basically teleport there. And after this, we can pick up the report. And as we progress through the story, we will actually get our first ending. So by grabbing the report, doing all the things that we are doing, we will get an ending. How that's all going to work, I actually have no fucking idea. I grind my teeth and sit up. Actually, oh, we can accept the call. It's from Akiho. Or we can do this first. A centipede. I close the doors. How just die? I'm sorry. Forgive me. Just leave. Ugh. This island has way too many bugs. It's not even funny. What is the inside of Chikura no Iwaya like? Phew. Robotics Club, please gather at Old Airport. I have something I want to show you, or show. Too easy. Oh, it has nothing to do with bugs. I doubt that, actually. The reactions of the kids on this island are so pure that it makes me feel happy talking to them. They say hello even though they don't know you. Feels nice to be here. That's actually a common thing here in the States, too. Like, oh, I guess I have to progress here in order for it to pick up. Looking at the clock, it's 10 in the morning. I was planning to sleep for 2 more hours. I pick up my Pokecom as it continues to ring annoyingly.
Ohayo, Aki-chan.
Okay, what I was going to say, I just wanted that ringing to stop, is like, in the country here in the States, or at least in my experience here in California, and maybe in the city here and there, you'll have people that actually do wave to you. Like, there's a sense of courtesy, but once you do go into the cities, and probably the bigger they are, the more populated areas are and all that, yeah, you don't get that courtesy anymore.
おはようって時間じゃないよ。それより追放は見てないか。
今、アキちゃんに起こされたところだからね。
昨日も一昨日も部活サボって夜更かししてたの？
I guess she holds a grudge. It's not like there was anything for me to do these last few days. Couldn't she just let this slide?
まあいいや。これからハンガー行くから、カイも来て。
今どこにいるわけ？
まだ家だよ。フラウボーがね、珍しくロボ部に招集かけたの。見せたいものがあるんだって。
Frau asked for us. That's pretty unusual.
これからそっち行くから、準備しといてね。
俺寝起きなんだけど。
カイだって、うちが寝起きなのに部屋に入ってくることあったでしょ？
それは、学校に遅刻しそうなのにアキちゃんがちっとも起きようとしなかった時じゃない。
とにかく行くから5分で支度してね。
Fun.
多いんだな。
What does Frau want to show us? Apparently it doesn't have anything to do with bugs, or at least I hope it doesn't. Kimijima Report number 3? But we haven't set all the flags. The earliest we can start looking for the report is at 4 o'clock. So what could it be? This is the third time I've been summoned by Frau. The first was to help her move. The second time was to help her with the cheater hunt. She's probably going to make me do something. Again.
行ってきまーす。
As soon as I exit my house, Akiho is waiting for me outside. She's sitting against her scooter looking at her Pokecom. As I approach her, she raises her head and waves at me.
おはよ
ちゃんと5分で支度したよ。
う。男の子は簡単でいいな。
で、コナちゃんの見せたいものって？
うちもさっぱり。1時間くらい前に急にツイポでつぶやいたの。その後はこっちからリプライ送っても電話しても連絡つかないし。
やれやれ。
She also called out Mr. Pleiades in those tags. I don't know if you guys saw that in the tweet, but yeah, they're not doing a really good job of hiding his identity. I'd rather not get dragged all over by Frau's impulsive whims.
ねえ、カイ。
Akiho is still leaning against the scooter. She makes no attempt to move. She looks down, kicking at the ground with the tip of her foot.
何？
昨日とか一昨日とかどこ行ってたの？
観光。
観光？嘘だ。
Technically, yeah, we've been fucking sightseeing the wall of a cave. Not really in a way.
それが何？
宇宙が丘公園には行った？
行ってないけど。
It's then that Akiho glances around and brings her face close to mine.
モノポールのことだけど、また落ちてた。
マジ？
Akiho nods intensely.
そっか。アキちゃんはあんまりあそこ行かない方がいいよ。また落ちてくるかもしれないし、もし頭にぶつかったら大怪我するだろうから。
ねえ、やっぱりあれ、ガンツク2のどこかに使えないかな？
アキちゃん一人で加工するつもり？爆発物かもしれないじゃないか。うかつに手を出すのは危なすぎる。
そうだけど。
Yeah, but it would be funny.
どうしてもって言うなら、毒のところにでも持っていけば。
Akiho gently shakes her head, a sad expression on her face.
無理。うち、あそこ出禁になっちゃったから。
Banned?
あのじいさん、怒らせちゃった？
うん。
I wonder what happened, but now's not the time to ask. I'd rather not get her started.
とにかく、アキちゃんだけであれを扱うのは禁止。
じゃあ、JAXA に渡すとかっていうのはダメだよね。カイ嫌がってたし。
他のいつも世話になってる町工場に持ってけば。爆発覚悟で調べてくれる人はそうはいないだろうけどね。
うん。もうちょっと考えてみる。
Man, I was not expecting more monopoles. Sister Centipede was right. If I just leave things as is, the situation is gonna get complicated. Is there nothing I can do to protect my little slice of heaven? No, that little slice of heaven is long gone. At the old airport, Frau is setting up a strange device on the parking apron. Juna had arrived earlier and she's helping. The device is about 20 centimeters wide and looks like a cylinder on its side. There are all kinds of sensors and cameras attached to it. There are 4 in total wired up to a Pokecom. I thought it was Frau's Pokecom at first, but it's actually Juna's. The devices are on tripods placed to face each other diagonally. The camera directions form a cross.
今日の朝届いた。深度センサー付きの RGB カメラ4台。これでモーション撮るわけだが。
Got it, and this is also we can capture movement for Model 2, like she mentioned before.
もう揃えたの？っていうか、買ったの？
ネットでポチった。離島だからもっと時間かかると思ったけど、そんなことはなかったぜ。
いくら
？4台で5万ちょい。
Jesus. She's loaded. I'd expect no less from someone capable of buying an old hotel on a whim.
じゃあ、純ちゃんの出番だね。
Juna opens her eyes wide.
モーション
She's apparently been setting up this equipment without knowing what it's all used for.
そういえば話してなかったっけ？
I was so busy with the Kimijima reports that I haven't seen Juna for several days.
コナちゃんからキルバラシステムをやるにしてもゲームと全く同じ挙動だと難しいって話が出ててね。だからいっそロボ2号機用に専用のモーションを用意しようってなったのさ。
そうなの？うちも聞いてない。
そのうち話そうと思ってたんだけど、まさかこんなに早く機材が来るとは思ってなかったから。
Plus, Model 2's blueprints aren't even done yet. Having just the mocap equipment doesn't actually amount to much.
確かにキルバラのあの動きを現実で再現するなんて絶対無理だもんね。
で、元空手部の純ちゃんならモーションアクターじゃなくてアクトレスに適任でしょってこと。
私は何をすれば。テスト。
Frau whispers.
テスト？機材がちゃんと動くか。
今からテストをするわけね。
Frau nods at my words and beckons Juna over. Juna looks puzzled, but does as told, and stands in the center of the 4 cameras.
ここで動けば OK。前後左右から空手先輩の動き全部ガチ盗撮するんで。盗撮って前後左右からどんな動きも絶対に見逃さない。絶対にだ。
Why is she getting so intense?
フラウボ、あんまりジュンのことからかわないの？ほら、ジュンってば泣きそうになってるじゃん。フラウボの方が後輩なんだからそういうことしない。デュー、空手先輩ならペロペロしてもいい。
What the fuck?
さすが変態。
私帰りたい。
いや、モーション担当は純ちゃん以外にいないよ。ロボ部で他に体を動かせる人間なんて誰もいないからね。
それについてはうちも純がいいと思うな。
Juna draws closer to Akiho and squirms, her face totally red.
でも私、大きいロボット怖くて。
等身大ロボットは怖いって言ってたけど、巨大ロボットも怖くなっちゃったの？
Juna nods apologetically.
この間の1号機くんのテストを見て、大きくて倒れてきそうで怖くなっちゃって。だから今回のモーションのことだって適任なんかじゃないと思う。サブオペだって本当はあんまりやりたくないし。でもほら、モーション取るだけだからロボに乗ったりするわけじゃないし。ロボ1の時にもジュンは必殺技を一緒に考えてくれたでしょ。やっぱり空手をやってただけあってジュンの動きってうちらとは全然違うの。キレがあるっていうか芯が通ってるっていうか、うちらのふにゃふにゃした動きじゃなくてジュンのシャキッとした動きで取るべきだと思う。だからジュン、お願い。
Akiho puts her hands together, and in the end, Juna nods meekly while still hanging her head.
頑張ってみる。本当？ありがとう。
She's as weak to pressure as always.
じゃあ、あとは夜。
こらこら、どこ行くの？
I grab Frau by the shoulder before she can scurry off. Where have I seen this
これから
before?
テストするって言い出したのはコナちゃんでしょうが。
太陽が眩しくて。
She looks like she's about to melt away. Is that because I made her look for the Kimijima reports with me over the past few days?
まるでゾンビだね。日中では生きられないって。
南国の日差しはガチで殺人光線だろ上皇。こんなところで普通に過ごせるとか、先輩たちどんだけタフなん？フラウボ、せめてどうやってこの機材を使うかぐらい説明していってよ。別に説明することなんてなくね。カメラの中心で動けばそれでいいわけだし。
カメラとつなげたポケコンで録画ボタンを押せばそれで OK。
Simple enough.
純ちゃんさ、試しにちょっとやってみてよ。
どんな感じか試してみよう。
そんないきなり。でもこの格好じゃ。
いいからとりあえずなんだから。
Juna insists on changing clothes as tears form in her eyes. She's too embarrassed to perform in a skirt. Ironic, since I saw her practicing in the gym in her uniform before. Anyway, Frau had her bring her what with her? Her G? I guess that's what that is. It takes her less than 5 minutes to change. I look at Juna's Pokecom wired to the cameras and see her on the screen. That said, the image output is totally different from when you capture someone on screen normally. There are 3 images, and each one has a silhouette of Juna colored red, blue, and green. There's a screen swap button that swaps the feed between cams 1 to 4 at will. All cams record at once.
じゃあ、とりあえず型でもやってみてよ。
スーパーはんぺんだっけ。
スーパーリンペイ。
カメラは意識せずに動いてみて。
Juna looks embarrassed, but nonetheless bows before beginning her kata. I press the record button and film her from start to finish. I've seen her perform a few times now, and every time I can't help but think about how weak she looks. About a minute into her performance, she stops moving. Her expression hardens and she has tears in her eyes. Her gaze is focused on the camera right in front of her.
ジュン、どうしたの？
カメラ意識しちゃったら頭の中真っ白になっちゃって。
Yikes. Her anxiety is in full force. I mean, sure, there are cameras, but it's not like they're broadcasting to TVs or the internet.
ごめん。
Juna drops her shoulders and stops the performance.
まあこれから慣れていけばいいよ。ねえフラウボ、今やったところだけでもこの場で見ることってできるの？
できる。
Frau swipes the screen and a video player console appears at the bottom with play, rewind, and fast forward buttons. She presses rewind, allowing us to view what we just recorded. We try replaying it.
赤と青と緑の順だ。
よかった。顔とか映ってない方がありがたいから。
Akiho and Juna are also watching the video. The footage appears to have accurately captured Juna's movement. Since it records from all sides, it can actually recognize three-dimensional movement.
これ使ってモーションいくつか作って、そしたらシステムに組み込むんで。じゃあ。
Frau attempts to bail yet again, but I stop her.
帰りたい。
Frau weakly clings to Juna's shoulders like she has anemia or something.
小次郎さん、大丈夫？
私が元気になるための方法はただ一つ。メガネとヤシオ先輩の薄い本を読むことだ。キリ。
What the fuck? Not a single one of us knows what she means by thin book, so all we can do is pretend we aren't listening.
モーションをいくつか作るって言ってもさ、ロボ2号機はまだ設計図すらできてないんだけど、どう進めていけばいいわけ？
設計図できてからモーション取ればいいんじゃね？
Remind me what the point of urgently gathering everyone here today was? I knew I should have stayed in bed.
腹減ったな。
I guess I'll go grab a bite at a lunch joint or something. And then it's back off to the cave. By the time I eat lunch and return to the hangar, Frau has vanished. I'm not surprised. I guess she really went home. It's noon right now. I need to head to Chikura no Iwaya soon, but I'm probably not going to be able to take Frau with me this time. Oh yeah, is there anything new on Twitter? Yes. I don't get it, but go to the hangar too, June. Hooray, hooray. I'm happy that Frau Bao is motivated too. Having allies is great. Now time to sleep. Yep, there you go. Good night. Played 10 minutes during lunch. Hard time matching up, 1-0. 16 hours starting now. If you wake me up, I will not be happy. But before that, gonna search for some 2D BL media for my pleasure, of course. I see that she's facing herself. I will leave her alone. I gotta face down Gun Build 1 too. Uh-oh. Don't talk to her right now. I should give up hoping that he'll go to college, seeing how he's putting his everything into club activities. Usually now's the time you should be studying. At times, boys must prioritize their dreams and passion over stability. I wrote it as boys, but please read it as men, just so you know. You say that, but it doesn't seem that way. I would agree if he showed as much passion as Akiho-chan does. There's a student in the club who's way richer than me. I wish they'd share some with me. Wow, wonder who Michi's talking about. At least pay me for helping with the move. Local public workers have it rough. Yeah. Whatever, Michi, whatever. Actually, did I ever, like, scan this area? No, I didn't, actually. No trespassing, lovely. Yeah, I guess we just never scanned this, like, one area. I guess that's a me problem. Plus, I think the other times that we've seen this specific scene... Oh, this is ours. And that's Akiho's. Is like whenever we're transitioning here to follow Akiho. This airport is no longer in use. Gee, really? I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell that this airport wasn't in use. To be perfectly honest, she hasn't been much help these last 2 days, so it doesn't make much of a difference.
Kai!
Honestly, I'd say that Frau has been pretty helpful in a way. Akiho comes running over.
うちちょっと蒲田モータース行ってくるね。
Kamada Motors is a local workshop in Nakatane. It's in the neighborhood, so the Robotics Club goes to them for help once in a while. Not nearly as much as the robot clinic, though. I was going to say robotic,
何しに
but I stopped myself before I did.
ガンツクワンのモーターのことで相談してくる。
へえ
Akiho's still attached to Model 1. I'm not that surprised. She did say that she was going to keep working at it. Since she's banned from the robot clinic, she's trying to get help from the other workshops, I suppose.
カイはジュンのサポートしてあげて。あの子真面目すぎるところあるから。あれからずっと一人でテスト続けてる。
And that would mean it's been about an hour. And that's quite a while.
ごめんね。本当はうちが見ててあげたいんだけど。
Well, it's not like I have the time to spare either. Juna wears a serious expression on her face as she thrusts her fist forward, surrounded by mocap cameras. She's not actually performing a kata so much as she's doing basic karate training. The blazing sun is out in full force, so her forehead is covered in beads of sweat. The phrase single-minded comes to mind. She was so focused on the cameras before that she couldn't even move. She's clearly over that now, which is good, that's progress. Actually, I didn't even know that Juna was capable of looking like that. She looks way cooler than when she was actually performing earlier. Gallant, even. If she could be like this consistently, she'd have no problem at tournaments. But since she's already retired, I guess none of that matters anymore. It just means that in the end, her mental strength wasn't enough. I doubt that she was able to ever show her true skills in front of all those people. But that kind of mental weakness is fatal to an athlete's success. Every time you participate in a match, there will always be your opponent or a judge, always someone watching. Actually, it might even be better to leave Juna to do the mocap work alone. Us being around could just become a hindrance. To test this theory out, I intentionally make noise as I approach her. Juna freezes in place the moment she spots me. She looks at me and forces out a smile.
どうぞ続けて
At my urging, she goes back to her practice. But it's obvious from her movements that things have changed since I got here. She's weak-kneed. There's no snap to her punches. Most of all, that coolness that she had earlier is long gone. In its place, she looks like she's about to cry. Her gaze is unfocused and she keeps glancing at me. She really can't deal with the pressure of being watched.
カメラには慣れた
それはぼちぼち
Probably now that she knows that it's like not actually capturing her, but more so her silhouette, I guess her movements, not actually capturing her, you know, her face
俺
or
に気づ
anything.
く前の純ちゃんはすごくいい感じだったよ。
そうかな。
自覚ないの？
あるかも。今ヤシオくんが来てからは恥ずかしさとか緊張とかであんまり見てほしくないなって思っちゃって。
I think that's more of like a natural human reaction. Like, what's a good example for me? If I hear like people around me, or like if somebody were watching me record right now and I was aware, then I'd probably feel embarrassed, honestly. Just like me sitting here talking, like, come on. Like, yeah, I'd probably feel a little embarrassed. I would kind of like adjust terribly how I'm speaking, how I'm managing my recording session here. I'd probably make more mistakes. What's another good example? Oh yeah, hearing my own voice a lot louder. So whenever I wear my headset, like I actually talk with like a little bit more, not girth in my voice, but I do raise my voice. I don't know why, but when I take my headset off, I'm a lot quieter because I'm more noticeable of how loud I actually am, raising my voice slightly.
ヤシオくんだからダメっていうわけじゃなくて、他の誰でもダメだと思う。
でも一人の時は集中できるでしょ？
うん。
だったらモーションについては純ちゃんに丸投げでいいかもね。
そんな困るよ。私一人じゃ何も。
でもこのままだと純ちゃんさ、ロボ部の中じゃ言われたことをやるだけの人になっちゃうよ。単に空手をやめて次の夢を見つけるまでの腰掛けなら別にいいけど、何もわからない分野だからって言われたことをやってるだけじゃ面白くないんじゃない？俺が偉そうに言えたことじゃないけどね。でもアキちゃんが抱いてる夢を叶えるためにはさ、スバルくんやコナちゃんだけじゃなくて君も大切なパズルの1ピースだと思ったりするんだよね。特にモーションを取るってのは肉体の動きをちゃんと理解してる人じゃないと。だから頑張ってよ、純ちゃん。
ヤシオくん。
Yuna gets teary-eyed, like she's being deeply moved.
そんな風に言ってくれるとすごく嬉しい。あんまり足引っ張らないようにもう少し頑張ってみるね。
Yeah, you go, girl.
そうそう、その調子。というわけで俺今日は用事あるんで帰るわ。あとよろしく。しばらくしたらアキちゃん帰ってくるだろうけど、それまで純ちゃん一人だから。
一人？
Yuna is dumbfounded. I leave her on her own and jog over to the terminal. Now then, it's time for 3 hours of pain and suffering. I'm reluctant to do it, but if I quit now, the last 2 days will have been for nothing. Just as I sit down on my scooter, someone comes riding over on a bike. Oh.
ヤシオくん。
Damn, we are just constantly getting distracted on our way over to the cave. Tenoshi-san is wearing her JAXA uniform as usual. She must have cycled over from TNSC while wearing it again.
こんにちは。
She returns my greeting with a big smile.
こんにちは。どう？2号機の方は進展あった？
それはスバルくんに聞いてよ。今のところ俺たちは彼の設計図待ちなんで。ちなみにそのシャツさ、汗で濡れてスケスケだよ。
やだ。ジロジロ見てエッチだな。
Tenoshi-san wryly smiles as she covers her chest with her arms.
動揺しないんだ。
まあ減るものじゃないしね。
What a strange reaction. Are all women from Tokyo like this? No, Nai is interesting. Nai is very, very different, and we have seen some very strange sides from Nai. Frau is also a perv. No, these two have gotta be exceptions to the rules.
ただ やっぱりもうちょっとラフな格好で走りたいとは思うよ。さすがにこの島南国だけあって暑いから予想以上に汗かいちゃった。
そりゃご苦労さんなことで。話をしに来たなら悪いけど今ここには純ちゃんしかいないからあんまり邪魔しないであげてよ。
ヤシオくんはどこか行っちゃうの？
まあね。
デート？
そんなところ。
I'm going deep into a cave to have a secret tryst with a ghost girl only visible through Iro. What a fun
じゃあごゆっ
time.
くり。
I wave to Teneji-san and head off on my scooter. Hopefully she doesn't follow. The waves are starting to approach my feet. These last 3 days have been exactly the same. As it gets closer to the evening, the water starts creeping inward. By the end, it's up to my ankles. I'm not going to get washed away or anything, but the inside of the cave is chilly, making the seawater feel colder. Plus, since I can't move from where I am, an unexpected amount of my body heat gets sapped away. I look at the clock on my Pokecom. I've got about a minute before I hit 4 o'clock. I've been looking at the clock over and over for the last 30 minutes. It's annoying how once I'm conscious of the time, it feels like the clock stops moving. But if I don't check it, I can't help but get insanely curious about what time it is. I want to get out of here as soon as humanly possible. I want to be done with this for good. The more time passes, the stronger that feeling gets. How did I hang in there for 3 hours? Yeah, honestly, 9 hours total of this shit is fucking terrible. Maybe this was supposed to be a test of willpower? I've spent a total of 9 hours across 3 days in this cave, yet the only people I've seen were a young couple. The pair, likely in their 20s or so, saw that someone else was here and awkwardly fled. It's in the middle of the summer, and yet no tourists have visited the island's biggest tourism spot. I'm conflicted. It's just a reminder of how far our island has fallen. I don't think that's necessarily the issue. I don't know what the issue is, but there's other things amiss. I get it, with no rocket launches as of late, why would anyone come here over Yakushima, the World Heritage Site? It's not like me feeling bad is going to fix anything.
お兄ちゃん、4時ですよ。
Oh, lovely. I hear Irie's voice coming from my Pokecom. She's right. The time on my clock reads 4 o'clock.
フラグは達成された。
はい、されました。よく頑張りましたね、お兄ちゃん。
Thank Christ. Hey, I got praised. Actually, let's open this back up and check Twitter. Ooh la la, I found some what? Some what? Go to sleep, please. I really wish I didn't open my shit to that, honestly. Actually, is there anything we can get off the camera in here? I mean, yeah, there's the very specific flag, which, well, doesn't really give us much, as anyone would have predicted. Like, who would have thought that? But, nope. A bitter smile on my face, I finally exit the cave. I kick off my sandals and walk barefoot on the warm sand. It feels great. I want to just lie down and roll around for a bit, but the sand would get everywhere, and that is a hard pass.
さてと。
I take a breath and whip my Pokecom out.
愛梨ちゃん、タップさせて。
Yeah, I was wondering when she was going to pop up there. Irie appears on screen on her own. I tap her on the face and she immediately turns into Sister Centipede. It's gamer time, boys.
確認しました。ゲシネモードに移行します。
レポート3のフラグは全部達成されたはずだけど、どう？
はい、すべてのフラグは達成されています。これにより、君島レポート3の AR アノテーションは可視化されたと考えて良いでしょう。
そりゃどうも。で、どの辺にあると思う？
不明です。
Despite making it visible, Sister Centipede has no way of locating where it is, huh?
フラグの場所はこの辺に集中してたから、レポートそのものもこの辺にあるとは思うけど、とりあえずめぼしい場所を回ってみるか。
The Kimijima Report's AR annotation is the usual power mark. I gotta find it. I guess I'll use... Yeah, we have to pick the map to... Okay, so this is the deciding factor. I mean, we can make a bad decision, I guess, by choosing all of these other locations here. But I think it's Hamada Beach. I'm just going to verify here. I'm just going to verify because, you know, I don't want to fuck up. It says, in order to find the Kimijima Report, use the maps to quick travel to Hamada Beach from Hamada Beach. And after this, we can pick up the report from there. And that should bring us to our first route. Hopefully. This is Hamada Swimming Beach. Chikura no Iwaya is nearby. Could the Kimijima Report be here? Excuse me. Yes, it could be here. Oh, okay, so we actually have to look. We have to press the Pokecom button to bring up the Pokecom, and then, yep, we actually have to just straight up look for it. Okay. There's a little bit of a game element here to it. I like that. Like, we actually have to use our big old noggin, you know? Just kind of look around for a big old power button that pops up on the screen somewhere. Unless we can go in there, but I highly doubt it. Maybe it's in the water? Maybe? Or far off distance? No? I mean, it's somewhere here. It's gotta be. I can also see that there's like a oh, wait. Oh, I see it right there. Yeah, I thought that was a graphical glitch. Nope, it's right here. Nice.
見つけた。
I knew it'd be here.
レポートナンバー3がダウンロードされましたよ。いつでもビューアーで見られます。
What a real pain. Report number 2 wouldn't have been so bad if it weren't for the typhoon's timing. That was the major issue. This one was going to be shit no matter what, but the flags for this report were both time-consuming and tedious. Apparently, there are 7 reports in total, and then 13 members of Organization 13. I wonder if the other flags are going to be this bad. Might break if they are. Either way, it's time to take a look at this thing. Oh yeah, time to read. Alright, wait, what the fuck? Okay, I guess I'm reading it this way. I still vividly recall February 1st, 2010, the day the President of the United States announced the termination of the Constellation Project. His statement contained the following information. The funds that were previously allocated to the Constellation program will be repurposed primarily to allow for robot-led space exploration missions. Furthermore, they will also be used to support the development of manned rockets by private enterprises. Finally, a portion of the funds will be set aside for future use in order to fund the development of next-generation engines that will send astronauts beyond low Earth orbit and into deep space. Thanks, Obama. This is what was said to the public. However, very few know it was all merely in preparation for Project Atom. Project Atom, spearheaded by the Tavistock Institute, was approved by the group that they're operating under, the Committee of 300, as number 114 in their attempts regarding the Human Domestication Project. After Project Noah ended in failure in 2009, yes, we're all very aware of Project Noah and the Noah 2. This project was seen as a similarly promising venture by the Committee of 300. Oh, we're getting some graphics here now. Specifically, it will directly interfere with the sun as its period of maximum activity, or at its period of maximum activity, excuse me, artificially generate a solar corona and then release it as a solar magnetic storm. The resulting solar storm would be the largest in recorded history. Expected damages would be the annihilation of roughly half of the human population, as well as massive changes to the global environment that would further increase the number of deceased. The ultimate goal is to end the lives of 5 billion people. The project was founded based on research from NASA that predicted the sun would enter a 10-year-long period of maximum activity beginning in 2012, which was recognized by Tavistock and then propagated shortly after. This was performed by deliberately leaking NASA's research worldwide, and in 2009, the Hollywood film known as 2012 was produced in order to associate the year 2012 with the apocalypse. You guys ever watch that? 2012 was supposed to be the end of the world and all that, and like everybody was just eating it up. I don't think anyone was. I don't think anyone was actually taking it seriously. I mean, like, come on. Also in 2009, the Committee of 300 learned from a report by NASA's Interstellar Boundary Explorer, IBEX, that the reason for the sun's increased activity was the influence of an interstellar-sized energy ribbon, a cosmic string, drawing close to the solar system. Project Adam was further adjusted as a result, and they moved to execute the plan in 2015. The committee recognizes that the execution of Project Adam would wreak havoc across the Earth, so they plan to provide wealthy people connected to the Committee of 300 refuge and shelters either on the moon or deep underground. Thanks to the spread of carbon nanotubes, the possibility of constructing a space elevator from geostationary orbit to the moon is being considered by the committee, which would eliminate the need to travel there by rocket. However, due to the low prospect of completion by 2015, the construction of underground shelters is currently the more realistic option. For several years after 2015, the surface of the Earth would be nearly uninhabitable due to the environmental changes. The only planned activity on the surface would be performed by livestock, including humans, as well as the autonomous robots managing them. Project Mars, running concurrently with Project Adam, will have a large selection of companies serving under the Committee of 300 develop and build robots no later than 2012. This explosive technological progress will make autonomous, life-sized robots commonplace by 2015, and once this is achieved, research on giant robots for military use will commence shortly after. I will discuss Project Mars separately, but know this. All manufacturers that were unheard of in 2009 but become top global corporations by 2015 will be connected directly to the Committee of 300. Japan's exoskeleton, America's US Robocom, and the United Kingdom's Liverpool Tech all must be given particular attention. I mean, let's be real. The exoskeleton shit, I mean, we had to know that there was some sneaky-ass connection there. And this is probably why Misaki was telling Kaito, like, hey, stop, you're going to find this shit out. And once you do, you're going to be in trouble, because the 300 does not want anybody to know. The amount of information here is dizzying. But still, there's one name that stands out to me. I never expected to see that name show up in a conspiracy theory from a decade ago. Is this just a coincidence? Is it unavoidable? I'm pretty sure she found out. But, okay, theoretically, if she actually did find these reports, if she went as far as Kaito currently is, and she found out about this, why did she go to work for them? How did she get the opportunity that she did? What happened to her that led her to, I guess, losing a lot of the oomph that she has, the dreams that she had while she was still a high schooler? I end up reading too much into her words. I desperately want this all to be a big coincidence. I mean, Misane only joined EXCO 2 years ago. She had nothing to do with the company at the time this report was written. And she's not even part of the top brass. She's just a test pilot and a PR girl. Because she knows something, man. Come on. Not to mention, Misane apparently knew Kimijima-ko. No, I'm good.
じゃなくて、ミサ姉とは友達だったって言ってたよね。
はい、ミサ姉じゃなくてミサキですが。
君島コウとミサ姉って会って話したりしてた？
してましたけど、
Oh?
ミサキはマスターと話すよりアイリと話す時間の方が多かったです。
何
しろミサキはアイリの初めてのお友達ですから。
So, I mean, we know that, shoot, we haven't seen her in a while, but the store clerk, Misaki's friend from high school, she recognized the name. obviously. So we already knew that there was some sort of connection. They knew of this guy.
それにマスターはあまり人と話したがりませんでした。
ミサ姉と君島公は何を話してた？
美咲はマスターにたまに質問をしていましたよ。マスターに興味を持っていたんじゃないでしょうか。
どんな質問？
愛理の機能について、イルオで何ができるかについて、東京のことについて、結婚しているかどうかについて、種子島での住み心地について、まとめるとそれくらいです。
Nothing about a cool number, you know, maybe a 3-digit one. It's all just small talk. But I mean, that's normal, right? Misane was only a high schooler at the time. Kimijima Ko was the amazing guy from Tokyo who made Airi and Iruo. It would be odd if Misane wasn't interested.
親しい様子だった？
愛理の方が親しかったです。会話を交わした延べ時間は愛理の方が上です。
It almost sounds like Airi is competing with her master or something. Or maybe that's just how important her relationship with Misane was, especially as her first friend.
あの二人が口論してたりしたことは？
口論ですか？ありませんよ。もしそんなことがあったら愛理は悲しいです。
Is she really remembering things correctly? Airi's an AI. Unlike humans, her past experiences don't grow hazy over time. It's all stored server-side, supposedly. I have no idea how she works.
君のマスターの映像ってさ、どこかに残ってないの？できれば閲覧したいんだけど。
ないです。
ない？一つも？
That's kind of interesting, but if he was so secluded, and for, I guess, good reasons, he was targeted, well, why would he have photos of himself? Airi answers with a smile.
マスターはそういう映像を愛理とゲジネを使って徹底的に消させたんです。
Gotcha.
だからないです。
Kimijima Ko erased them himself because he was pursued by the Committee of 300, because he didn't want anyone to recognize his face.
愛理ちゃんの記憶から映像を引っ張り出すこととかできないわけ？
できないですよ。
Airi shakes her head, looking like she wants to say that's outrageous.
そんな機能はありません。
そう。
But I'm curious about Misane. I get the feeling if I search for more Kimijima reports, I'll learn something that I will regret ever knowing. Damn, it's like we were warned or something, you know? I really am starting to regret it, Misane. There's a side of you unknown to me attached to these reports. I just hope I'm overthinking things.
愛理ちゃん、君島レポートって7つあるんだよね。残り全部のフラグを教えてくれない？
じゃあゲジネにしてください。
It's a real pain to have to do this every single time. Ugh, no point pushing back. I tap on Airi's face. I don't even know, like, why she switched back in the first place. I mean, we switched her to Sister Centipede for a reason.
ゲジネモードに移行します。こんにちは、ヤシオさん。君島レポートナンバー4についての情報をお伝えします。なお、レポートナンバー5以降については、ナンバー4を入手していないため、フラグ情報がロックされています。
そうなの？
はい。
I guess I gotta do this in order. I mean, that's what I assumed. You sure made this whole thing a huge pain, Kimijima-ko-san.
レポートナンバー4の AR アノテーションは詳細な場所について現在不明となっています。
I have a feeling that the rest of these are going to be unknown, and it's going to be a similar setup as we go on forward. I don't know how these routes necessarily work because, well, what are we exactly progressing towards? Are we progressing the story at this point, or are we on a route? I don't know. Are we going to get an ending here? Because once we load up my save slot 1, we're not going to get this report. I read ahead a little bit. We're literally going to choose not to get the report. We're going out of our way to avoid it. So how do we get the rest?
AR アノテーションを可視化するためのフラグをダウンロードします。
Unless what we're doing right now is getting the rest of the reports all at once. We're gonna get them, and we're going to regret it.
完了。レポートナンバー4のフラグをお伝えします。1、君島レポートナンバー3を発見している。ゲジネより注釈。フラグ1はすでに達成済み。
Yeah, I have a feeling it's always going to be that case. The first flag will be to get the previous report, which means, yeah, it's a chain. You have to go in order.
2、種子島の4カ所のおすすめポイントから撮影したロケットの打ち上げ写真をイローにアップロードする。
What the fuck?
おすすめポイントの4カ所は以下の通りです。長谷展望公園、宇宙が丘公園、七色坂観望台、竹崎展望台。
Small problem.
3、ロボクリニックに保管されている五次郎くんを起動する。
What?
4、ジオタグを付与した火縄銃を1発以上試射する。
What?
以上です。
Okay, these fucking flags are absolutely outrageous. They're fucking stupid.
勘弁してよ。
Man, I thought these previous ones were like just out there, but holy shit.
さらにめんどくさくなってる上に実行不可能なものまであるじゃないの。ロケット打ち上げ写真をアップロードってそもそもこの4年くらい打ち上げられてないし、五次郎くんって誰だよ知らないし。
I'm pretty sure that's one of the lovely life-sized robots that are over there at the clinic.
火縄銃なんて撃たせてもらえないし危ないし。
We've hit very hard on the difficulty scale. I'm already feeling bummed out. I was planning on collecting all 7 reports, but now?
とりあえずじっくり方法を考えるしかなさそうだ。
Yeah, seriously, what the fuck? I decided to head home for the day, completely discouraged. Well, who wouldn't be? What the fuck? Oh, hey, Misaki. What up?
ええ、こちらはあなた方が歓迎すべき情報をお伝えする用意があります。はい。とある実証実験の結果についてといえばお分かりなのでは。そういうことです。今この場でご判断を。これ以上は待てません。感謝します。つきましてはぜひ会っていただきたい人物がいるのですが、ええ、もちろん例の計画に関係する人物ですよ。少なくともあなた方を失望はさせないとお約束します。はい、詳細は追ってくれぐれも内密にお願いします。では。
They hung up first. I take a small breath. I look outside the window and see the prominent form of Mount Fiji in the distance. When I first saw it, I was overwhelmed by its majesty. Now I've grown accustomed to seeing it and feel nothing.
通話終了。工場のカメラに戻して。
My Pokecom sitting on the dashboard returns to the screen from just before the call. The fuck's happening here? It shows the inside of Exoskeleton Company's Aichi factory, my current destination. I can monitor it in real time. This factory is one of several Exco factories in Japan. It utilizes the latest, most cutting-edge technology. It's less of a manufacturing plant and more of a laboratory for building prototype units. Shown on the monitor is the rapid prototyping unit that the Exoskeleton Company takes pride in. It's what you would call a 3D printer. It takes 3-dimensional data and builds it in reality. It's not meant for mass production. Oh, okay, I'm kind of seeing something here. Like, there's a lot to take in here, really, but I can kind of see what the idea is here. But that's not necessary when it comes to building a few prototype models. Rapid prototyping is optimal for this. It's a marvel that makes me feel like I was an idiot for drawing blueprints in notebooks in the past. On screen, I see the latest Hug prototype taking form before my eyes. It's quite large compared to previous Hugs. We've already reached the sales ceiling for medical care power-assisted suits. And in fact, you could say we sold too many. Exoskeleton Company is now moving away from medical care and into military and police service. In reality, the military and police units of various nations worldwide have already started adopting Hugs.
結局戦うしか道はないのね。ロボットに昔から アニメや映画でずっと描かれ続けてきたように。
Oh, but of course. I muttered to myself and turned off the monitor. Interesting.
いらっしゃい。
Yeah, hello. We'll end it here, but let's check the tips list. Rapid prototyping, a technique used in corporate product development that means to quickly create a prototype using CAD, 3D printers, or other similar devices. The shape of the prototype is formed directly from 3D data using resin and other materials. We know what a normie is and we know what a smartphone is. Well, there we go. That's our episode. Yeehaw. Yeah, I don't know what's to come here. I don't know if we're going to be like straight up jumping into the other reports going forward right now, or if maybe we need to take a different approach into getting this report, and that's why going or like choosing not to get the report, let's say report number 3, choosing not to get it immediately like we just did will lead us to getting it, but things are going to pan out differently, maybe. I'm thinking maybe it's going to go that direction. Excuse me, because from what I understand, we're on a route now, and eventually we're going to be getting an ending. But then again, this route system here is kind of weird. It's a really weird mix from Steins Gate, from what I'm seeing here. It's just not as obvious with the routes here. Plus, the fact that you have to make correct choices on Twitter, like what the fuck? But anyways, I'm ranting for no reason. But yeah, thank you all for watching this episode. I'm excited to see what happens next. I hope you all are as well. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you all in the next one. Take it easy.